Oh, all right. Hey, everyone. This is Ash. Welcome back to the King's Speech. So there has been so much hype around this chapter. It's almost like, you know, the better version of what's been happening with One Piece the last few weeks, where fans were hyping up this chapter, with the illegal scans days before release. I had friends complaining, they'd been spoiled on this Haikyuu chapter days in advance before, the official chapter actually dropped, which was a little bit disappointing. But thankfully, I was one of the very lucky few that was unspoiled by it all week. And ever since this afternoon, I've just seen, my Twitter friends, mutuals, all of them just losing their minds over what the contents of this chapter. So I honestly have gotten so many mixed messages. I have no idea what to expect at all. Like the only thing that came to mind was me thinking, oh man, like is Haikyuu really gonna end with this Nationals fight? Is this where the series is gonna get capped off? So, oh man, like I've been processing. That's the only thought I've been processing. That makes me a little bit nervous and a little bit excited. So, like this could be complete 180 from whatever I'm expecting with regards to that. But before we dive into it, a few quick channel update things, because I think by the time this video ends, I won't have the excitement or the brain power to actually process all this. So as usual, this weekend expect a Battle Angel Alita and Vinland Saga read-through. Because it is a long weekend for me here because of Thanksgiving, I'm going to be able to probably release a couple more videos than normal this weekend. So I expect a few more of those to come out depending on timing and everything else. Apart from that, Shonen Jump dropped earlier than expected. I think everyone's already aware. So it came out on Friday rather than the usual Sunday. So expect reactions to Promised Neverland and Haikyuu, the one I'm recording right now. There's no One Piece this week, so no reactions for that. And I believe next weekend is the bi-monthly Spy Family, the new Shonen Jump series that everyone's been raving about. I caught up with that recently as well, and it's a really, really good series. I love it so far. So I'm going to add that to my weekly roster of reactions as well. But apart from that, I don't think too much more else to say. Only other big piece of news is tomorrow the Haikyuu podcast will be recording our week or monthly podcast next or this tomorrow. So look forward to that where we'll break down, all the goings on in this chapter. So without further ado, let us get into Haikyuu chapter 369, Food Becomes Muscle. And you have translation by Adrian Beck, lettering by Erica Tariquez. So you see Karasuno taking all their equipment and stuff and leaving the gym. And you see Asahi and Nishinoya just standing there. Nishinoya is looking deep in thought, and he's just kind of looking at him, wondering what he's thinking about. And Nishi goes, Asahi-san, you're worried I'm beating myself up because I wasn't able to dig that last shot, aren't you? And Asahi's like, actually, not really. Well, okay to say I'm not at all would be a lie. But if you couldn't dig that ball, it isn't like... Yes. It isn't like any of the rest of us stood a chance of digging it either. Oh, man, I love it when the team just uplifts each other like this. You have him going, no, wait, maybe Daiichi could have... Still, went over the top of a triple block, so... And Nishi's just like, Asahi-san, if I was the only one who could get it, then it's definitely supposed to be one I feel bad about. And you see them walking ahead, and you see Tsukishima and Daiichi trailing along behind them. And Daiichi asks, Tsukishima, how's your leg? Did the cramp work its way out? And you have Asahi and Nishinoya going, really? He's like, really? Jeez. And Tsukishima's like, oh yeah, thanks. And Daiichi goes, without your blocking, we never would have made nationals in the first place. And Tsukishima's like, thanks. And he looks away for a second, and he goes, I think I want to go back home and study some of Kamomedai's game tape. Yes! Oh man, I love me some character development. Oh, and you're flashing back to him talking to Hinata, going just winging it and trying your very best isn't gonna work for everything, you know. And he goes, meh, it was fine, I guess. We were playing against Mr. Elite Superstar, the King, so it's no surprise that mere commoners like us lost. And you see one where I don't think you've seen it before, where you see him and my boy Yamaguchi training, and he's running up a hill and he passes Tsukushima. He says, "See you at the top." And as this is going on, you see Daiichi also just losing it, going, "Geez, you guys, what are you, seals?" Oh man. And just and you see Tsukushima just giving that same look he gave Hinata when he crashed the youth training camp. And he's just looking at Daiichi, just losing it, just completely confused. And Asahi just chimes in from the side. He's like, "Yeah, I think he means that in you grow quickly sense. Baby seals are supposed to grow really big, really fast, right?" And then you see Daiichi still like bent over, trying to stop laughing, going, "Stop looking at me like that, Tsukushima." And you see Shimizu behind them watching everything that's going on, and you see someone saying, "Let me carry that for you." And you see Tanaka walking up to her. And she looks away for a second and she goes, "Would you please? Thank you." And you see him commenting, "It's light." And Shimizu's like, "Yeah, that's what I always say." And then you have Daiichi going, "Don't let the score fool you. That wasn't a close loss. They had us completely beat. Top 8 in the nation. That we made it that far on our very first trip to nationals might seem nearly miraculous. But I have confidence that you guys can go a lot further. Can go further. A lot further." And you see Kageyama also about to say something. He goes, "But I wanted to take this team further." Man, Furudate is just pulling out all the stops on this chapter. So you have just everyone staring in shock as you flash back to the lonely tyrant, the king of the court, where he's, talking to Sugawara and he's saying this game is just another step toward our goal. And him thinking back to when he was first paired up with Hinata, going, "Then I'd rather do it all myself. All the settings, spiking, serving, everything." And you have then you have Daiichi just going over the side, like bonking his head on him, and he's just like, "Ah." And Daiichi tells him, "It's worthless if you don't win the darn game, Lose, and that's where it all ends." And Daiichi, oh my god, now I'm gonna start crying. Alright. You have Daiichi starting to cry, and he goes, "But just hearing that from you, just that, makes it feel like coming here was worth something. Don't care what anybody says, this was worth it. If you feel that way about this team now, then I'm sure you can feel that way about your next one, and the one after that, and the one after that. All your teams, even way in the future." And you have Daiichi still like processing and going, "Seals, every one of them." And then you have the coach going, "Well then, I guess it's about time we..." And Daiichi comes up and says, "Hang on, coach, one last thing, please. We never would have made it this far on just guts and enthusiasm. Securing the gym for long practice sessions, setting up practice games against good teams, convincing Coach Ukai to join us. If it wasn't for you, none of this would have been possible. Getting you for our advisor, Coach Takeda, was the biggest stroke of luck we had this entire year." God, just... and you flash back to Takeda when he first took on the responsibility, eavesdropping on some other teachers talking about this. And they're going, I feel so sorry for Takeda sensei. He works so late every night, and it isn't even for something he's familiar with. I know, and he does have this tendency to try so hard that he causes awkward problems for others too. And so Takeda goes, all I can say is that I'm proud of all of you. Yes, we lost. Yes, it was a painful lesson on the level of our skill now. But it was not a sign that any of you are weak in any way. Nothing is over. Nothing. Apologize for my cell phone just kind of going off here. Just quickly put it on mute. And he goes, but it's not a sign that any of you are weak in any way. Nothing is over. Nothing. Not one thing for any of you has ended today. Tomorrow, the day after, for the rest of your lives, you can do anything you set your mind to. And you just have this panel shot of everyone on Karasuno just taking this lesson in, and just, I love these spreads so much. Oh! And they all bow to him and say, thank you very much. And he bows back with a thanks. And you have Coach Ukai going, okay, let's go eat. You see Karasuno in their uniforms heading out of the stadium. You know, going back to their locker room, or maybe going back to the hotel. And you go, phew, I'm tired. And you see Daiichi, Asahi, and Sugawara outside. And Sugawara's like, and so Daiichi expresses his opinion to the sky. And Asahi's like, you're telling me one or two more jumps, and I think my legs would have cramped up too. And Sugawara goes, you know, there at the end, nobody apologized for anything. I'm glad. And then you see Shimizu coming outside to hang out with them as they all, you know, stand at the railing, arms like this, just looking out at the sunset. And you have Tanaka coming out and saying, hey, dinner's on. And you have Sugawara going, once Hinata recovers, I want to treat him to ginger pork. Daiichi's like, I want to treat him too. It's like, me too, me too. It's like, great, let's make him eat all 4 helpings. It's like, don't worry, I'll help him. It's like, oh, come on. Then you see, you know, Ukai taking in some food to Hinata, who's got the little face mask on as he's resting in bed. And he goes, sorry, did I wake you? He's like, no, sir, I smelled something good. And Ukai's like, yep, there's just something about a good hot meal that makes it feel like everything's going to turn out okay. You up to eating? And he's like, yeah. And Hinata's like, the others? And Ukai's like, they're all eating dinner right now, too. And he goes, it wasn't that you lacked guts or didn't want it badly enough or anything like that. Your physical strength and mental strength aren't 2 separate things. Building a strong, fit body also builds a strong, fit mind. Don't try to surpass your limits. Work to push those limits higher. Don't panic, though. You already know how to do that. You see him, just all these callbacks. And you see Hinata going back to back thing was the training camp where he asks, you know, Ukai, Coach, what kind of food should I eat? And Ukai continues, you know how important it is to eat real healthy foods. Just keep that up and keep building good, strong muscle. And you have Hinata just going, thank you for the dinner, as you see the rest of Karasuno, you know, all around the table, partaking of their own meal, you know, just all happy and joyful. And you see Hinata as he's just eating that first bite, you know, tears start coming down his face. Oh, bug and choked up your heart. And you see everyone coming in to, you know, check in on him and see how he's doing. And then you see March graduation ceremony, Karasuno High School. And you see Enoshita crying as Daiichi just smacks him on the shoulder. And he goes, you know, thank you very much for everything, as everyone stands in front of the school. And you see Daiichi, Sugawara, you know, Shimizu, and Asahi with their graduation papers as they all wave goodbye. And you see the rest of the team taking off. And you see Yaichi, who's just made a, you know, closing a book, Karasuno High School Volleyball Club activity log. Oh, come on! No! You cannot do this to me! Oh! Oh! Ugh! You cannot do this, Furudate-san. You cannot play me like this. Mm. Oh, God, my face is hurting so bad. Alright, so you see years later, in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, you see someone dropping off a delivery going, Obrigado. You see them taking off on a bicycle, with Bon Appetit on it. And have next chapter hits October 27th. Oh! You cannot do this to me! Oh! God! Okay, alright. Oh, man, how do I even begin to process my thoughts on this? Oh, my God. Alright. I have no idea what he's gonna do. Oh, I honestly cannot tell if we're gonna have, like, an epilogue chapter where we find out that Hinata is close to achieving his dream of, becoming an Olympic volleyball player, about to achieve his dream of getting a gold medal. I don't know if he's skipping ahead and he's just like, oh no, this is like the next stage and we're actually going to see it from here. I don't think so. Like, this feels like this is where the series is going to cap off. And I feel like we're going to get a couple of epilogue chapters, talking about, or, seeing where all the other team players are, what they've done. And I feel like this is the end for the series. Oh my God, Furudate-san, you really pulled the rug out from under me on this one. Oh my God. Oh, alright, I honestly don't know what else to say. I loved all the callback moments during this chapter, to everyone from the beginning of the series to where they are now, and how you see, their character development from that point until now, interspersed with the flashbacks. I love all the emotional moments of, Sugawara breaking down when Kageyama admits that, he wanted to take the team further. And Ukai telling Hinata, this is not the end of the road for you. You have so many more greater heights to reach, and I know you can do it. Like, honestly, like, if this is where the series ends, with, like, after the epilogue stuff after this, I honestly wouldn't be I'm so happy if that was where it ended. If Furudate-san decides, this is where the series ends, and this is where I'm going to finish it, mad respect. They deserve, all the credit for having written such a phenomenal series up to this point and capped it off with such a high note. This was an absolute masterpiece. I honestly have nothing else to say. I have the discussions tomorrow on the Haikyuu pod are just going to be a bunch of us just crying and weeping and just talking about how much we love this series. It is absolutely phenomenal. Again, I'm super, super glad all my friends, told me to pushed me to give this series a chance. And I'm glad I listened and I got into this because this has been a phenomenal journey. And yeah, that's it. So, like I said, look out for the Haikyuu podcast episode coming out tomorrow. Well, no, probably won't be tomorrow. We'll be recording it tomorrow. It'll probably be out a couple of days after that. Just watch my Twitter feed. I'll retweet it the instant it drops. It should be a lot of fun talking about this, this chapter with a bunch of friends like that. But apart from that, like I said, expect my normal reaction review stuff to come out over the weekend. And yeah, so excited to see where this goes, and I cannot believe that's where it ended. All right, I'm going to have to process this. Until next time, this is Ash. I'll talk to you all later.